So look, in this video, everybody thought this dude was dead until the police found something. I don't know what they found. But we here. We're gonna have to figure this one out.
Yeah, but I guess you can walk a kayak across and put it in.
Yeah.
It's frosted up, so it's been here.
Deputies are out searching for a guy who went kayaking the night before and never came back. In the weeks that follow, the investigation starts pointing him to being dead, and detectives are getting ready to drop that heartbreaking news on his family. But then, things take a wild turn when they uncover a shocking discovery that blows the case wide open and exposes a twisted scheme of lies and betrayal.
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgward. Hello, Matt. Today is November 11th.
Taking your death is crazy, bro.
10
I'm not even gonna
a.m.
lie.
by you guys
Like,
in my apartment.
why do people do stuff like that?
Safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
On August 12, 2024, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office receives a call from a woman reporting that her husband hasn't come home since the night before. She shares that his last location is in Green Lake County, Wisconsin.
Green Lake County Sheriff's Office. Hi, good morning. It's Dodge. Have you had any contact with a Ryan Borgward? We do not have him on our in-house records at all. Okay. We have a spouse on the line, and he lives down closer to Watertown, Exonia. He went to Quimby Bay. He was on a kayak. Oh. She woke up and he's not home, and she can't get a hold of him. Oh, dear. He is driving a Dodge Caravan. It's gray with a gray trailer. When did she last hear from him? She last spoke with him at 10:45 last evening, and he was headed back to shore. She doesn't think he would have, stopped anywhere else for the night or anything like that? No, that's not what she's saying at all. She said he doesn't know anybody up there. Okay. The kayak is darker camel brown. Yeah, I can have deputies head over there and okay. Check that out. See if we can locate the vehicle, or I'm assuming he would have parked there then as well, she thinks? I would imagine somewhere in that area.
You know what made him fake
he
his
went
death?
fishing on the Green Lake.
Green Lake County deputies try to piece together what happened to 45-year-old Ryan Borgward and speak with his wife, who says the last ping on their shared tracker app was at 11:55 p.m. the night before. She also shares that the last message she got from Ryan was around 10:20 p.m., in which he talked about the beautiful night. When she woke up at 5 the next morning, Ryan wasn't home, and his car wasn't in the driveway. That's when she called the police. As the deputies head to the last place Ryan was seen, they find his car after a little searching.
It is unoccupied, so staying by. Talking to the wife, he forgot an oar, so he was out on Big Green paddling with a net, so he very well could be out there yet. I'm gonna use my vinyl, see what I can find out.
1848, you want me to head that way as well then, with you? Deputy Wallace.
Hey, you know where I'm talking? That he's parked?
Yeah, by the, where people would launch to go duck hunt on the south side.
Yeah, but I guess you can walk a kayak across and put it in.
Yeah.
So it's frosted up, so it's been here. The way he's parked, it's like he's fishing the south side.
So this is my thought. I'm thinking call the drone team out, have them come to Dodge, and they can run the drone on the south side and around the corners and that to see if he's out there.
Correct. Who do we got on for detectives? Are you in your car?
Let's see. Detective 12 is Hanson and Ward.
I'd call both of them right now, see if they're willing to come fly right now.
Alright. I will get a hold of somebody and we'll get it rolling.
Alright, I'm gonna keep looking on my vinyls here. I guess I was gonna open the car. She didn't even know he went to Dale fishing, or to get wood pellets, and all of a sudden he came home.
I wonder where he is.
She texted him, that car's locked. No note or anything. And he just said, hey, I'm going fishing.
I'll jump on the boat and see if we can find him somewhere.
Around 6:31 that morning, they find a kayak matching the one Ryan was using the night before. When they flip it over, there's a blue life jacket tucked under the mesh in the front, but nothing indicates where he could have gone. The search for Ryan drags on late into the evening with no luck, even as the department pulls in every lead they can.
Straight north. This is north. Going east, clockwise, east, south, Blackbird Point, County Park lights, west is the K Tower, KN73 Tower, and back north.
The next morning, as news of Ryan's disappearance spreads, a witness spots his tackle box floating in the river and turns it over to the police. It's filled with random stuff, but nothing that gives any clue what happened to him. As suspicions start to grow, Ryan's wife insists there's no reason he would harm himself. He was a strong swimmer, they had a happy marriage, and while he had some work stress and a recent credit card debt, nothing was serious enough to push him to end his life. But days turn into weeks, then over a month, and hope starts to fade. Though no one knows a shocking twist, then over nothing was they had a happy marriage, and while he had some work stress and a recent credit card debt, nothing was serious enough to push him to end his life. But days turn into weeks, then over a month, and hope starts to fade. Though no one knows a shocking twist is just around the corner. By October 8th, 2024, almost 2 months since Ryan was reported missing, the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office had run through nearly every option, even checking his phone and GPS records. In a last-ditch effort, the department shifts gears and runs an offline search for Ryan. Almost immediately, they find a hit on his name in Canada on August 13th, just 1 day after he was first reported missing. Following this discovery, one of the deputies reaches out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. That's when they learn that Ryan had applied for and received a new passport back in May 2017, after claiming his old one was lost or stolen earlier that year. But when they message Ryan's wife, she quickly pulls out his old passport, proving he had fraudulently applied for a second passport and broken the law. What no one realizes at the time, though, is that this is just the beginning of something much bigger. Things take an even bigger turn the next day. The department confirms with U.S. Border Security that Ryan really did cross into Canada using that new passport. At this point, investigators start to seriously consider that Ryan may have staged his own death and taken off. When they head back to Ryan's house to talk with his wife, she hands over his old passport and admits she had just learned their credit card debt had climbed to $14,000, something Ryan had been hiding from her. Later, Ryan's mother reveals that she and her husband had actually loaned Ryan $40,000 to help pay off debts. Another secret his wife knew nothing about. Inside the home, officers also uncover a large stash of firearms and briefly wonder if Ryan could have been trying to link up with a terrorist organization. But the evidence doesn't really fit. Instead, they collect his laptop, hoping it might hold the answers, and leave the home. 2 weeks later, investigators finally get the forensics report back on Ryan's laptop, and it blows his whole scheme wide open. Turns out Ryan used his company's account to buy 2 Visa gift cards along with an Air Canada gift card. On top of that, investigators uncover a string of texts and photos between Ryan and a woman originally from Uzbekistan. Digging deeper, they find documents full of search questions about switching bank accounts and moving money between 2 different countries. There are also receipts written in Russian and even a life insurance policy application from January 2024 worth $375,000. By November 1st, investigators are already in touch with a trading company that flagged Ryan for suspicious activity, specifically trying to convert more than $23,000 through a Moscow-based cryptocurrency platform notorious for illegal transactions. But the biggest proof that Ryan is still alive and that he staged his own death comes from the surveillance footage at Toronto's airport. There, clear as hell, Ryan is caught on camera leaving the airport before boarding a flight to Europe. Investigators track down the email of the woman Ryan's been talking to, hoping she can give them some clue about his whereabouts or even just confirm he's okay. But when she or Ryan don't respond, the sheriff takes things a step further, emailing a video message directly to Ryan pleading with him to come forward.
Ryan, this is Sheriff Mark Padol with the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office, Green Lake, Wisconsin. Ryan, I hope you're well and you're safe. Why am I doing this? You have a family that is really concerned about where you are. Right now, they think that you have drowned in our lake. I'm going to give you the opportunity to come forward and give them what they need to hear from you. You know, we all make mistakes. We all have problems in our lives. But you have a family that wants to hear from you. At 12:30 today, November 8th, I am going to address your family and tell them the information that we have and that you are not in the lake. Ryan, I beg you, give me a call. Work this out, and you can have the opportunity to talk to all your family and tell them. You got a very nice daughter, and she wants her dad back. Please, Ryan, give me a call.
Hey, man, what in the Nick Fury? And he just called that man like he's really Nick Fury. I'd be scared. I would've, man, I'm coming. Because you ain't finna call me like you are the king of the Avengers, the leader of the Avengers, man.
Later that day during a press conference, the sheriff makes another appeal, this time reaching out to the media, the community, and directly to Ryan, urging him again.
If there is someone out there that has either knowledge or unknowledge assistance with Ryan in his efforts, we encourage you to contact us. We plead that you contact us at the number that is shown on the screen. It's the Green Lake County Sheriff's Office, 920-294-4134, extension 1162. If there are people that want to remain anonymous, all you have to do is call our Crime Stopper tip. Text get them to 847411 or 1-800-GET-THEM. There's one last thing I want to do, and this is to Ryan. Ryan, if you're viewing this, I plead that you contact us or contact your family. We understand that things can happen, but there's a family that wants their daddy back.
Press conference grabs Ryan's attention, and at last, investigators get the confirmation they've been waiting for.
Good evening, it's Ryan Borgward. Hello, Matt. Today is November 11th. It's approximately 10 a.m. by you guys. I'm in my apartment. I am safe, secure, no problem. Hope this works.
However, Ryan doesn't share his location or express any intention to return to his family. After a month of back and forth emails, messages, and negotiations about what kind of jail time he might catch, the detective finally gains Ryan's trust, and he drops the info on exactly where he's hiding. Finally, on December 10th, 5 months after he ditched the country, Ryan agrees to come back to the US, even sending the detective proof that he's actually leaving Europe.
He was arrested immediately at the airport.
As soon as Ryan lands at Chicago Airport, he's taken into custody, then hauled back into the Green Lake County Sheriff's Department to finally go over all the shady shit he's pulled since August.
The place where I would like to start this discussion is August 11th. Maybe you can just start us out with the morning of August 11th, and in your words, tell us what happened.
The week before I was committed to doing it. I was looking at the weather because I wasn't going to do this in a bad storm. I'm not going to bike. And so I was looking at either Sunday or Monday night as being the time. I didn't have the plane ticket, so I could buy that at any time. I knew Monday, Tuesday, those are the cheaper plane ticket days. That bus out of Madison, it goes to like the Twin Cities all the way through. It happens like every day at that time. So I just had to everything kind of hinged on me hitting the 10 o'clock bus. Maybe Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there, I decided that it looked like Sunday was going to be okay to do it. Weather was going to be fine. Ended up being perfect. Then Sunday morning, woke up, just kind of turned off emotion, I guess. Went from there. Did church, came back from church. I was hoping to have communion with my family that day. And then got back home from church, and then I knew that I had to go back to the shop because I had a lot of things I had to get done yet to prepare for tonight, that night. I think I did some final touches on setting the computer up, and then ended up had to stay at the shop, getting some stuff done, and then going back home. And then I think I was maybe home for 1 to 3 hours, maybe somewhere in there. And that's when I got like the last couple things I was going to grab. Loaded up the trailer to get the wood pallets. Drove to the shop. The shop is where I had the bike for a couple weeks. Stored. bunch of things that were ready to go that had been accumulating over the last few weeks. So it wasn't like I carried a duffel bag out of the house one day. It was already over at the shop. We have cameras at the shop. You probably heard about that already. Maybe you didn't. Yeah, I knew that. So I backed the trailer up really nice and close. Maybe you already saw that. Because I knew Craig would be like, oh, what's going on? So I backed the trailer up nice and close. I got everything that I needed to get in, and then I for a drive out. First stop was Walmart in Oshkosh. I really wanted a life jacket because I knew my mom would let me have one. And I felt kind of more camp. I would have felt better if I would have had one that night. I mean, I had the one that was on the kayak, but I didn't have a second one. But I was able to buy a duffel bag that night at Walmart, and I was able to buy some snacks. I bought an EW Oshkosh hat because I was concerned about being super visible in airports. Went from Walmart up to Adams. I knew Adam wasn't going to be there because he had a faculty party that day, so I wasn't worried about him seeing the bike. Got the pellet soda as quickly as I can, and then he ended up coming home before I was out of there. The bike was hid. He didn't see it. We said hi. We talked a little bit. And then I got out of there, and then I had a long drive over to Green Lake from his house. Time. I maybe left his house about 8-something, 8:30. Probably got to Green Lake maybe about 10-ish. I was just turning left from the highway on the southwest corner of the lake onto the county road towards the park, and one of your squads was just passing me. I was like, okay. I figured since it was a county park that you guys had some kind of route that you did. Whether it was every hour or 2 hours, I just assumed it would be something. So I was kind of happy that that was just happened, because then maybe I'd be clear for a little while. Parked the trailer, got the kayak out, freaked out because I forgot the paddle. But I think I stashed some bags, and I stashed them. I was, as much as possible, I didn't want to go back to the trailer because I wanted to just avoid it. It also meant I would have had to have a key on me again. I didn't want to have a key with me. I wanted to leave all the keys in the tackle box. So I was really trying to make it as easy for possible. Those stupid van keys are really expensive. Tossed the phone further to the north from where I was. Inflated the boat. Hopped in the boat. Took a while to get adjusted and situated. Flipped over the kayak. I was still getting situated and adjusted. The kayak was out of sight. And then another boat came off the water. So I was freaking out again that boat was going to see the flipped over kayak. But they never did. So probably somewhere in the 12 to 1 category maybe for time. Maybe late 11 o'clock. After that point, I started the roll. The roll was fighting the wind. The waves were kind of hard, and if I would show you a picture of that raft, you'd laugh. So countless times I said, why am I doing this? Kept going. Had to take a lot of breaks because it was just physically, besides mentally exhausting, besides only having cereal for a meal that day, and nothing else the whole rest of that day for food or water. I guess I did have water later that afternoon. Finally got to shore. I have no idea how long it took, but it took forever in my head. I thought I saw some lights on the street, so I thought I had a good idea where I was. Took that first step out of the boat, and I was like, yes, a rock. Great. Took a second step out, and I went all the way down into the muck, into my waist. And then the next step, all the way down into my waist. And the next step, all the way down to my waist. And if the first part wasn't tiring, the second part was awful. And then I was carrying the inflatable, which had a duffel bag on. If you've ever been in that mess over there, but I don't know, 8 to 10 foot cattails and muck. So it's kind of awful. I was kind of sliding the inner tube across that as I was walking through that. Finally got through. And then I was like, well, now I'm all muddy and I'm just on from here to there. So I decided to run across the highway quick, hop in the water, basically took a bath from here down, got all the mud off. Then I came back across the highway, and I saw, from what I could see in the moonlight, it was just I forgot if there was moonlight or not, but to me I could still see pretty clearly that night. I saw all these funny footprints right across the county road. Quickly went over back to the fresh water, and I tried to start throwing water onto the footprints, because I'm like, you see the cars here, and the footprints aren't that far away. I thought for sure you're going to see this. I maybe got 2 footprints out, but it was taking forever, and I'm like, this is impossible. I just got to chance it.
He really had this
planned out. Just leave what it was.
I'm really just watching dang.
I had way too many.
Wow.
I had 3 bags. It's way overweighted for that bike ride. I had never started the bike before, so I didn't really know how it was supposed to work. It's 1 or 2 or somewhere in that time right now. There wasn't a car that had gone by in that county road for quite some time, so it was pretty quiet. Hopped on the bike. And I couldn't get it started, didn't figure out the switch. It was dark a little bit, so I couldn't find the power switch. I did end up pedaling the bike to about the first, I think where that bar is over there, in that south corner bar restaurant. I kind of stayed out of the light a little bit, but I used some of the light to kind of figure out where the power button was, and then I got it all situated, and once I figured out the go button, it was pretty fun. So I started the bike right close. At some point I noticed it was 5 a.m., so I knew I was going to be getting up, but I knew I was going to be around, and then I was worried about that. And I was starting to hit home. That it was on, I guess. Kind of kept going, made my way through the Cottage Grove area over there, the County T, and some other ones. I had a nice little road that really avoided a lot of traffic. took myself down to, I want to see, it's a park that starts with O. It's a 45-minute walk, pretty much straight north of Dutch Mill Park, or Dutch Mill Park and Ride. There's a very thick wooded area that you can easily ride a bike through and then park it, so I thought, that was a good place, I thought, where I could leave it and then someone give to somebody else. I'm sure someone's enjoying it, riding his bike, a helmet, 2 batteries, and then I had a duffel bag, the one that I have up there. And 2 other packs that I hoofed it then down that street. Walked to Mill, about 9:15 is where I got to the park. There was a number of items at that point that I threw away in the garbage can that was in the park. My sweatshirt was wet, so I got rid of that too. I'm carrying a wet sweatshirt on the bus. Got to the park and ride. The bus ended up being about 10 minutes late, so that was kind of nice. Because I got there right about 10. Hopped on the bus, and that was that. The bus went to Milwaukee. It has a short stop there, maybe 10-15 minutes or so. A few people off, a few people on, then on to Chicago. Chicago, there was a bus transfer, maybe an hour or 2 that I had to sit and wait in the Chicago terminal. And then took a Detroit bus, hopped in there. I think I told you in all seriousness, Greyhound is
this dude is Supervillain. I don't care what nobody says.
To Detroit, I think I got there late.
He is a real
And one more
Supervillain.
bus switch, which is the one that takes you across the border. Got to the border crossing, we all got off. I was slightly nervous about this point because I had to go through some security. I wasn't entirely sure what was going on back at home. I didn't know if it was like a missing persons or if it was drowning or what was going on over here. I pulled out the passport. The first security guy asked me my driver's license, and I said, I don't have my driver's license. He's like, he was pretty agitated that I didn't have my driver's license, and I said, but I took a bus. I'm my normal self, I'm kind of just cordial and whatever, and I said, but I took a bus. Like, per the rules on the Greyhound website and anywhere else, if you just need your photo ID of a passport to cross the border. That guy didn't like the answer, so he pulled me aside and had me sit there, and then another guy ended up coming over and talked to him. And they were starting to get a little suspicious. He started to ask me about, like, why are you coming to Canada? And I said, I'm taking a bus trip up to, I didn't lie to them at all. I said, I'm taking a bus trip to Canada, to the airport here. I'm going to fly out to go on a trip. I just thought the bus trip would be fun. He's like, well, show me your plane ticket. Well, my phone was dead at the time, and I technically didn't have a plane ticket, so we didn't like that answer either.
As Ryan keeps running his mouth, it appears that he doesn't regret any of the things he pulled on his family.
Nah.
He's just salty they finally caught his ass.
Talk me through
That's why I
some
said,
of
this
the
boy a real
planning,
supervillain.
some of the things that you did and why you took the...
I mean, you'll probably all get in trouble if I say different things, but I mean, if your goal is to disappear, then you would do everything in your power to try to disappear. The amount of hours that I spent trying to disappear would blow your mind. The things that you have to do now in 2024 to make that possible, it's almost impossible. I knew there would be cameras that would be in front of me. I knew there would be a situation where you have to flash your passport. You're attempting to do this without breaking the law in any way, right? I mean, so as soon as you do a fraudulent, I mean, if I have a fake passport made or other things like that could occur, then you're obviously definitely breaking the law and you're definitely getting yourself in trouble. So I wasn't like talking to some Joe on the street to get something made, or you're doing everything as legally as you can to not get in trouble as much as possible. So I guess everything kind of hinged on me dying in the lake. If you come to the lake and 10 minutes later you realize I'm not there, then you're not going to look for me, you're going to look elsewhere, and then it's going to be a real short trip to Georgia.
So, I mean, essentially it was in an effort to create as much of a layer of secrecy as possible. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. The whole idea was to sell the death. If you don't sell the death, you don't.
You wanted to make it as...
I knew at some point, I mean, I just didn't know how long it would take. I didn't know if the whole idea to going to Canada to fly. So I could have flown out of America.
Good.
Except that I'm almost certain that as soon as you run a missing persons thing, I'll pop up, the passport pops up in America. Almost certain it'll happen anyway. Canada, like, do you have to ask for that information from Canada? I'm sure you'll get it, but you have to ask, or is it automatic? And that was my question. I don't know that answer. You guys do.
We
But
share it with you, but we're concerned as to how you would use it.
Fair enough. But so I mean, I knew at some point it was probably going to be found. So I guess I was doing every effort to limit how much and when. And the plan that I came up with was the best that I could come up with to limit. And I guess truthfully, I mean, I got up in 60 days or something before you guys started looking at something else. I mean, it sort of worked. That being said, I would not have emotionally been able to do that. And I guess what I mean by that is there were a lot of things that I got too close to the wire, too close to August, even like the computer stuff, and just too many things that were kind of last minute. And I just couldn't, it wasn't until maybe that last month where I finally all of a sudden discovered that Western Union has an international way to buy something. I was like, because it was, I mean, everything Sure, I can maybe get to Toronto Pearson, but if I can't buy a plane ticket, I'm not getting across the Atlantic. So I mean, everything really kind of hinged on that. So when I talk about, I'm not really sure I was going to do that till maybe June. It was getting kind of late till June, July. Those last few pieces started to kind of fall together. If someone really wanted to do it, I think you could. You would just have to be more over a couple of years. The computer thing, I think, is easy. And I've always been a person that doesn't do Facebook. Well, I only have a Facebook account because of the business. I never have Facebook accounts. I always limit my stuff online, mostly because I don't trust anyone. And I think I told you this a little bit. For what it's worth, after COVID, I didn't trust the government, so it is what it is. If you're not allowed to go to church, it kind of says a lot about your government. So at that point, maybe Ross already told you this too, but I set up some independent email addresses that were just separate from normal, just because we were concerned about things at that time during COVID. So not like we're going to do some kind of revolutionary thing stupid, but we just wanted to be able to have a way to talk freely amongst each other and not get in trouble.
As Ryan keeps yapping for another hour about how he'd change his plans if he had a do-over and all the research he did, the detectives finally call out the woman he pulled into his whole sus mess.
We cross paths online.
Look, if this dude actually put his evil to good, like, and made a movie out of this instead of doing something like this, do you not know? He's smart. Like, I ain't gonna say smart in that way, but he intelligent. He is intelligent. He looked like he could have been a good director and made a good script, a good playwright or whatever. But, man, trying to disappear is crazy. And you just don't want to pay them people back. That's the only reason you disappeared, because you didn't want to pay your dues. That right there is the only reason I can't agree with you. Because don't try to run off on people. Oh, we gave you $40,000. I give you $40,000. You try to fake your death. So imagine I think like, dang, I just gave him $40,000. He died. Oh, no, he was just found in Canada. Hey, man, I'm finna go find him. Like, come on, man. That's a real supervillain move. Man, nah.
December 23.
Okay. So online, so yeah, it's kind of a
We just
weird.
talked once or twice and then just talking. Said sometime we would try to. I promised her that I would, find her again after the holidays. And it ended up being like maybe late January or something like that.
Okay, so late January you kind of reconnected?
Yeah.
Okay.
She at that time would have been telling me that she was from Ukraine, so because there's that thing going on over there between Russia and Ukraine and whatever. So a lot of people in the West don't trust anyone from Russia. So our conversation, she said she was from Ukraine, so a lot of her conversation was, "Are you in the same place? Like, what's it like over there?" And an inquisitive person like that. So I guess I wanted to learn more. You hear things on the news, but you always wonder how much is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for a deep dive, and I asked her all kinds of questions about what's going on over there.
So you guys met online initially. Was that off of a specific website or kind of like a dating website or something like that? Okay. So you guys meet. When does she send you the receipt information?
I'm going to say it's going to be probably February, March.
Okay.
February is when we really kind of started to actually become friends, close friends.
So in February and March, you kind of become good friends. When in there did you kind of start doing? You said you did a lot of research on disappearing, and when did that kind of start happening?
I think the friendship kind of changed a little bit more somewhere in February, March, and then probably the actual real spending of time on research probably didn't really happen until maybe April.
The reasoning behind that, why you didn't just go searching for your original passport and pocket it, hide it, and say, I can't find it, I have to apply for a new one? Help me understand the thought process behind that portion of this.
There's the 10-year mark in Georgia.
And finally, when they bring up his family, all Ryan has to say is this.
At that point, I was mostly then concerned about, I didn't want to get in trouble for anything, because she didn't want me to do this way. She was hoping I was going to just do a normal, divorce in the future, I guess. She thought this was worse or bad. And I'm not saying it wasn't worse or bad, it just, for me, it checked more boxes for all the problems I had going on. So.
Talk to me about that. I think everybody's a little bit perplexed as to why you took this path.
Yes, in the end, it came down to the feeling of failure in about every aspect of your life. So, hoping to be remembered for better things, not all the mistakes that you have. And if you don't have the best communication relationship with your wife, it's, hey honey, when was the house? Or I don't know, kind of things aren't super fun. That would be the general answer to that. And I love my kids, they're awesome. It's really hard to work somewhere and not talk about my kids when they're out, so that was hard. I guess, too, if you're feeling like you kind of feel on that end of things, too, just for a host of reasons. They're never that interested in doing things with you, and it's not like they have to like my hobbies or anything or whatever. But if you're trying to do stuff with family that happens to be a hobby and they don't have any interest or want to do with you either, it's just more stuff in the mix. So, but what gives you some comfort, I mean, because I knew that they were surrounded by family and friends, that there's obviously a ton of love that they have, so I knew it wasn't like leaving them behind in nothing as far as love and support. But as I kind of said before too, that's all crazy emotional training over months and months and months. I think just the inability to feel like you can talk to your wife about some of this stuff, and maybe the complete hopelessness that you have in the situation you're in.
Man,
you end
you
up
put
meeting
y'all in
friends
debt
on the other side of the world,
and then try
sort
to
of has a
fake
somewhat
your
similar
death.
story, and then you just end up becoming friends, and the friend thing ends up turning into more, but you didn't really plan on it. It wasn't your intention. So a door kind of opens up where you wait to possibly make some things work.
Ultimately, Ryan Borgwart was sentenced to 89 days in county jail in order to pay $30,000 in restitution for obstructing authorities after faking his own death to flee the country. The judge chose 89 days because that was the length of time Borgwart had misled law enforcement during the extensive search for him. And here's the wild part.
Man, hold on. He only got 89 days in jail for one. For two, you tried to fake your death after you put your wife in debt. So you wanted your wife to be stuck with your debt, and then you owe somebody $40,000, and you try to nah. I'll be seeing you after the 89 days if I was them. Talking about $30,000 to the authorities. So now you in $30,000 more worth of debt. Okay, all right. And y'all make this make sense to me. This man really just tried to fake his death. He said the most professorish type evil plan that could literally get him a Netflix special, and he just like nah. You should have been on Ozark. The way you playing this out, Marty Bird, you should have been on Ozark. Nah, he should have got more than 89 days in jail for wasting my time. Yep. Hang on, you should have threw 30 more on top of that just for wasting my time. Over here giving out this supervillain speech like you a real supervillain. What am I then? Like, come on, man. Hey, look, don't be out here trying to fake y'all death. You can't do that. You can go to jail for that, and you will go to jail for that when you get caught, just like he did. And he went through all this for what? Like, you went through all this just to have to pay $30,000 more. Okay. So what's that about? What's that? What would you like? $14,000 in debt, 40,000 to the other people, and 30,000 from the police. Hey, we got us one. But look, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button, man. It's been a yeah. I'm finna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Gotta go do a couple things, man. Yeah, gotta go get some smoke. I gotta just clear out some smoke. Like, yeah, don't ask me why, but yeah, it happens. Hey, Retro Gang, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. We finna get up out of here.